Hey, Nerd Herd, Dynasty Nerds here, back again this week. We have a lot to cover as we finally enter the playoffs of your Dynasty Leagues. They're here. The season, for some of us, is already over. It's about to be over for even more of us.
Is COVID about to kill the playoffs for everybody?
Not looking good. We got a lot of injuries to talk about, a lot of COVID players to talk about. We got some sneaky starts for you this week to help you, and even more. Tune in. It's going to be action-packed. Right,
Hotness.
Ready, set, hut, hut. Welcome to the Dynasty Nerds Fantasy Football Podcast, where we discuss Dynasty strategy, rankings, and all things NFL. So get ready to geek out on fantasy football with your host, Rich Dotson.
And welcome to the Dynasty Nerds Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Rich Dotson, here, my fellow nerd, Matt O'Hara.
Hey, hey.
And Brownie the Elf. I can't talk right now.
Wow.
Garrett Wilson.
Pussyfoot.
Garrett Price is out spending some holidays time with some holiday people.
Exploring the country.
He's in like Oklahoma or somewhere out there.
Don't give up his location,
Yeah,
dude.
find him. So it's just Matt and I here today with our producer, Jared Wackerly, as always. And we got a lot to talk about today, guys. We got to talk about some injuries, some COVID news, some player matchups, how we feel about going to playoffs. And we even got some sneaky starts for you going to the playoffs this week as well that we like. A lot to get into this week. Obviously, it's playoff week. We made it. The regular season is over. As we know in Dynasty Fantasy Football, there is no offseason. So this is where it just begins for a lot of us. So after this episode, we're going to kind of slowly start to switch gears here and get the Dynasty offseason mode here and help make sure that we're molding the teams, whether it be a contender or a rebuild, in the right direction.
Nice. I'm so looking forward to a little switch up here.
Yeah, me too. Can't wait. Season goes by fast. But, you know, as of course, there's plenty of us that the season's not over and the playoffs begin. We have a lot to go forward here. This is where all that hard work finally comes to pay off, right? It comes to fruition to see if we can finally win that ship. We'll talk about some of our teams, I think maybe in the Nerd Herd episode, I believe. In the Nerd episode this week, we're talking about some players that we think are good sells and good buys for this offseason. And as, of course, getting ready for this offseason, there's no better way to do it. We have a couple things here to talk about before we get into these injuries is mock drafting, right? The rookie season. It's upon us. What rookies do we want? And not only can you use the Dynasty Nerds film room to help you get you there, the Dynasty Nerds Nerd Rookie Score to help you get there, but of course, mock drafting these rookies. And you say, Rich, I want to mock draft some rookies. Where can I do it? Just go to your app store, whether it be Google Play, Apple App Store, search Dynasty Nerds. The mock draft app will appear. And guess what, guys, gals? You can do rookie mock drafts right now for the 2022 season. And of course, you can customize it. So it's not like you just picked a 1-1. Any picks that you have, you can put in the mock draft app and start mocking today. This will generate rookie ADP for us to deliver to you on a hopefully weekly basis. We may do like a weekly ADP update on these rookies through the mock draft app. We'll be doing mock drafts here soon, a way too early 2022 rookie mock draft. You can do Superflex, tight end premium, standard PPR, all that on the Dynasty Nerds mock draft app. So check it out today. Right now, if you go to Twitter, you check out the Dynasty Nerds pinned tweet. It's up there how you can get it. And we're doing a free shirt giveaway. So all you got to do is do some mock drafts, retweet it, and we're going to send out some shirts. I sent out like 4 shirts the other day about leaving a rating review on a podcast. I know like this holiday season, we're going to do some hardcore shirts giveaways because we're just going to, these shirts are the most comfortable shirts in the world. I mean,
spread the love.
We want to share that.
Yeah, we got to share that.
Yeah, so you got to take a screenshot of your finished mock and reply to the tweet that's pinned and retweet.
Yep, there you go. And of course, we had really good success last week. We're running a promo right now with the code is WINTER, WINTER. Winter. If you go to DynastyNerds.com and you put that in, we're going to give you an extra 15% off. We're going to run this through the holidays this year for this 15% off to make sure you have access at a great price to all these great tools that we talk about on a weekly basis. And that mock draft app that eventually will be the Dynasty Nerds app. We'll be putting everything into that app. So that promo code is WINTER. If you're out of the playoffs, start planning for the future by using our Dynasty GM tool to see where your team stacks up. Start getting ready for your rookie mock drafts. Doing a mock draft tool, the Dynasty Nerds Rookie Film Room. We cut up all the film, all the top incoming rookies, so you can watch the top prospects in an efficient way. See each play that the player on the field without any of the fluff in between each play. Sign up, use that promo code WINTER, and save 15% on any membership level.
Yeah, you're basically getting every single cut up of a guy the whole entire game in about 5 minutes. So that's a great value in and of itself coming here in the offseason.
It's probably our number one. It's our number one tool used this offseason, and it's the number one tool I use as well. Well, in the league analyzer.
Yeah, we use it all the time. Absolutely.
Yeah, so if you want to watch the film that we watched, that's where we get it. A lot of all 22 coming in there as well. So Dynasty news, injuries going in this week. We have a lot to talk about here real quick.
What's happening now?
Injuries.
Yeah. And of course, a COVID outbreak. Where does the COVID hit the worst?
Cleveland here.
Because that's where it always hits the worst. My heart. But injury news, Kareem Hunt, ankle. He's likely out week 15. Stefanski said he's out, so he's going to miss some time here. Saying ankle is the last time that he tweaked, right?
He had a calf last time.
Yeah, last time was a calf, right? So now it's an ankle. I mean, I was worried that it was a knee, the way that hit actually looked in person. I'm no doctor, obviously, so I was kind of relieved when it was an ankle injury. Maybe we'll get him back if we, before the end of the season.
I was at the game and I missed it, so. Okay. But it was weird because Stefanski's like, oh, he could have gone back in.
That's what was weird. Yeah.
No, he's like, oh, he's out week 15.
It might have been one of those things that, a night of rest, sometimes things swell a little bit. You take all the equipment off, all the tape and all that, and it gets worse.
Good, rest him. I need the Browns to win out so I go to the playoffs. I really need the Browns to win out to hit that over so I can win mucho cash, which I'm probably not going to hit. But
what was it, 10 wins?
10.5. I took the over. Biggest bet I've ever made in my life. My wife was not happy.
Yikes.
I'm not happy. I've already considered that money gone. I can't wait to hand over the cash.
As would I.
Thanks, Bookie, for taking that bet. DJ Moore, hamstring, day to day. I think he'll be okay. And now let's talk about there. Austin Eckler, ankle injury. But he actually came back a little bit today. Him and Mike Williams both came back today. We're practicing, so I expect Austin Eckler to be fine. Lamar Jackson, he has an ankle injury. They're saying he's going to be okay because it's a low ankle sprain.
It's a low ankle sprain, yep.
Yeah, I wish it was a high ankle sprain. Sorry, Lamar Jackson owners, but I'm a Browns fan.
And we are Browns fans here. We're hoping for some a little bit more long term, but it didn't come through.
Melvin Gordon, hitchhiking days. Those aren't ahead of him. He's got the thumb injury. Don't be doing that. Yeah, got to keep that
Urban
safe.
Meyer.
Not expect to miss any time. What's that? Oh, Urban Meyer hitchhiking.
Can't be doing that Urban Meyer move.
Oh, yeah. Hello, cheeks. Gio Bernard, he went on IR today, MCL hip injury, so he's on IR.
He's been pretty ineffective and kind of a disappointment.
Yeah, I was going to say, all those championship contenders out there, a big sigh of disgust. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait. He's probably on a lot of waiver wires.
Somebody that is actually kind of good, though, James Conner, having an MRI on his ankle. So that actually happened on the last play of the game there.
He's looked, well, I mean, what a bargain at $1.5 million. I mean, what a rebound year. Dynasty, I mean, what a year. You get guys like James Conner,
on the year,
Cordero Patterson, Lenny Fournette.
Running back 6.
Right around there. Him and Patterson, Patterson's 5. He's looked great. He's looked great catching the ball, getting a ton of targets out there. Now, obviously, Chase Edmonds has been out, and Chase Edmonds comes back this week, so it's good timing. But, I mean, this is a possible situation where James Conner might get a relatively decent deal, like one of those 3-year deals from Arizona that's, $5-6 million a year. We'll see. He's put himself in a position to get paid somewhere. I always hope players like this, when they find success in the system, they just stay there.
Yeah,
and
that's what you hope for.
They don't go money grabbing. Now, obviously, money's important. Somebody's offering you $2 more million, $3 more million. It's easy for us going, well, it's only another $1 million. Yeah. Good luck making that in your lifetime, buddy. So hopefully he sticks around there because that could be a great dynasty buy. It's one of those situations where do you try to aggressively buy James Conner now in dynasty, hoping that he can extend there, or is he a hard sell? Like, does he go somewhere else and find the success?
I think this is a great conversation for the Nerd Herd Show.
We'll talk about it.
Yep.
DeAndre Hopkins MRI on a leg injury that happened late in the game as well. That's not good.
Yeah. So it's AJ Green is the
Christian
guy.
Kirk and AJ Green.
Yep.
Big bump there, so pay attention to that. Aaron Rodgers re-aggravated the toe injury, but he said, hey, no big deal.
Just pain management, no big deal.
That's all. Yeah, the RELAX.
I'm just not going to practice. It's fine.
No,
so he's just going to play on game days, and we've seen him do it before, so no big deal.
Ryan O'Connell went to IR over the weekend. Alan Lazard had a big weekend because of it. 6 catches for 75 yards and a touchdown on 7 targets. It'd be him and Marquez Valdez-Scantling on the receiving end there. Mike Williams, heel injury, but again, he came back on a limited basis today, so no worries there. Logan Thomas did end up tearing his ACL, so he's going to go to IR, but he'll be ready for the 2022 season.
Yeah, he was already on IR, but the reports were initially that he did not tear his ACL.
How many times do we get mixed medical reports out of Washington over the last 5 years?
Well, we got a freaky owner out there doing weird things, and who knows what's coming out of there.
It's so weird. It's consistently with the same franchise.
Dude, Dan Snyder.
Yep.
It's terrible.
So weird.
Terrible. So and then Terry McLaurin got a concussion, left the game last week. First time in his career he had 0 points.
That was rough.
Yeah, real rough. Definitely if you need him in the playoffs.
Definitely if you're starting him against Rich.
And you got the L.
I did. I scored about 175 points, and you scored 200 points.
200 points. And this is just a 1 QB league, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
1 QB league?
Yeah.
200? This guy?
175. Pretty good. With a 0 in your lineup.
Pretty good.
And pretty good when you start Dak Prescott instead of Tom Brady.
Pretty good. Not good enough, though, apparently.
No.
Highest score of the week, this guy.
Yeah, I know.
Do you play me this week in the playoffs?
I don't know. I can't remember. I didn't look at the schedule.
You don't. I play a turd Ferg and I'm going to
sweet.
dominate. So that's it. Then we go to the COVID list. Christian McCaffrey on the COVID list. Don't plan on playing him this week.
I put it on there as like kind of a formality. Like, dude's already on IR for the year. Why would they switch it? Is there like a monetary reason for them to switch him from the IR to the COVID?
Probably like have to.
Okay.
But they moved him off of IR to the COVID list.
Are they trying to sneak him back onto the roster somehow?
Oh, that'd be so
Loophole.
Oh, there's a loophole if you get COVID. Like,
Gotcha.
Go French kiss Odell Beckham. Please.
They're not in the mix for the playoffs, though, are they?
I think they are.
They're not.
Isn't
out of it
everybody?
yet, I don't think.
I think everybody except for
everyone in the
Lions,
NFL.
Jaguars, and Jets are in the mix for the playoffs, honestly.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
been a very interesting year for sure for the playoff.
Yeah. I mean, right
playoff
now, if you're in
picture.
the AFC and if you're 500, you're in the mix.
Yep.
You know, my Browns are 7-6. We're hardcore in the mix. Trying to win that division. More to the COVID list. Austin Hooper, Jarvis Landry, David Njoku still on that list, but Harrison Bryant's set to return this week from his injury. Jamal Williams from last week, we don't know if he'll be back this week. Keenan Allen, he was activated today. All the Miami running backs, that's Philip Lindsay, Salvin Ahmed, Myles Gaskin, they're all on there. So Malcolm Brown could be activated this week.
Yeah, so that could be the play this week. That could be like the sneaky playoff play, right?
Malcolm Brown could be sneaky. Pay attention. I mean, these are important decisions.
These absolutely are.
I mean, Malcolm Brown is flash. So if you need running back help and he's under waiver wire, pick him up. You know, we're going to look at Craig Reynolds for Detroit. If he's on your waiver wire, he was on a waiver. Craig Reynolds was on a waiver wire in every league I was in.
Yeah.
I made a waiver claim in every single league. Yeah. I'm not even going to play him in most of those leagues. But in some of the leagues, I'm even not even in the playoffs. But
you did the jerk move.
Oh,
swooping up players off the waiver wire.
Doesn't matter. Listen, in Dynasty, there's no end of the season.
No, he could be a relevant player next year. Pick him up now. That's fine.
What if he looks really good and they're like, hey, Jamal, thanks for coming. Now it's him and DeAndre Swift.
Yep.
Never know.
Never know.
Now, Craig Reynolds will probably get cut here in 3 months. But in the meantime,
He'll probably get cut in like 2 weeks.
Someone else couldn't pick him up then.
Exactly. That's always my point for every player
Yeah.
in Dynasty. Like, who can I pick up so somebody else can't pick him up? Who's those other players? That's my league mates, and they can all go straight to Hades.
Yep.
Alexander Madison, he's not vaccinated, so he's on a 10-day quarantine.
Yeah, so it's guaranteed that he's going to miss this week at least.
Dalvin Cook looks so good. Like, dude, I love it when he comes in. He's like, "Oh, you guys all think Alexander Madison's the man? I mean, that's my boy. He's pretty good, but he ain't Dalvin Cook." And Dalvin Cook just goes out there and looks absolutely studly.
Did you know? I just listened to a podcast today. Did you know Dalvin Cook's little brother is coming out of Georgia this year?
James Cook.
James Cook. That was
He'll be at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, that was Jared's podcast. His
Do you like him?
Dynasty prospect talk.
I think he's a PPR upside back, like a McKissick.
Okay.
So
he's a little bit
probably like a good 3rd round target, I would think. Just
he's a little
depends on-
slighter, you said, right?
Yeah, he's 190.
190.
Dude, starting to see all these people declare, like Isaiah Spiller declared today. A lot of good prospects starting to turn the corner here.
Yeah, McShay just mocked 5 quarterbacks in the 1st round, which would be crazy for Superflex drafts.
That's bonkers because I mean I didn't think.
But they all went after like pick 12.
Okay, so it's none of the.
So it was like pick 12 to pick 25. There were 5 quarterbacks that went.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's like a weird mixed message, right? I mean, because usually if they're good enough, they're gonna be forced up there somehow.
They will be forced up no matter what if that's the case.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting because I just didn't think it was that strong of a class, but it sounds like it's kind of rounding into one from a Superflex standpoint.
It's December 5th, 14th.
I know there's still so
We've got
much
a
to-
long way to
We have a
go.
long way to go, but I mean that's at least a positive sign for Superflex.
I mean, wait till they put on those tight shorts and they're running around in Indianapolis.
Then they're going to go way up to it.
Yeah,
They're
way
gonna
up,
the
6 to
draft
midnight.
boards. Yep.
Mark Ingram went on COVID December 8th. He has a chance to come back this week.
He has a chance, right? But I mean, obviously, what's his name? Kamara's back. So
Yeah, he looked great.
good old what's his name's back.
Yeah. Kadarius Toney, COVID. Quez Watkins, COVID. OBJ, COVID.
Yeah.
I'm sure since we've had 75 players over the last 24 hours go on COVID, I'm sure there'll be more.
I'm sure there will too. This is kind of it's getting to the point where it's going to be the healthiest team wins week 1. You know what I mean? And everyone. I feel like everyone is just kind of limping into the playoffs at this point.
It's just who's going to be healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, sitting there, I'm in the Scott Fishbowl. Like you have OBJ on your roster all year, and you're like, come on, dude, just do something. And he gets traded to Rams. Like, okay, just do something. Boom, 3 touchdowns in 3 games.
3 games. Yeah.
Finally, here we are. First game of the playoffs.
I can finally rely on OBJ.
I'll take that back, sir.
Just kidding.
Oh,
Second week for those of us that did not have a bye, Rich.
oh yeah, I had a good bye. I rolled in Scott Fishbowl.
Goodbye.
So
I'm still in too. Woo.
I'm still
High
in.
five.
I have Kyler Murray and Josh Allen this week, so I'm hoping they carry me to the following week. I still got Debo to come in there.
That helps.
And to be fair, I was in 30th overall place in Scott Fishbowl, and I didn't have OBJ all year, so it was a little bonus. But
Yeah.
it still hurt. It hurts when like this is what's going to suck. Somebody's going to have a player on COVID that they need in the playoffs, and it's going to cost them a game.
Yeah.
It's going to cost them a title, and you would have won if you had that player. So depth. We talk about this. We talk about this all year, though. Like, if you have a good team, don't be afraid to pay for some of these older guys that are veterans. And we've given multiple names throughout the year of guys that you can get for pretty cheap that you wouldn't necessarily start on your roster today, but just to have as that backup in case, whether it be injury or a situation like this where you need OBJ and you could have got Emmanuel Sanders, who's probably not going to even play this week, but you could have got him for nothing. Or
No, there was plenty of other guys we were touting.
It could have been aggressive getting guys like Cordero Patterson. And listen, I understand people are asking for a first for Cordero Patterson. But listen, you have a guy that can play at running back or wide receiver who's running back 5 on the year. It might be just for this year, but that's worth a first round pick. And most of you picked him off your waiver wire. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like I traded in our 18-year-old Dynasty League. I traded Rob Gronkowski and Cordero Patterson for a 23 first because they got eliminated due to a stupid rule in that league. So I'm out of the playoffs because of our head-to-head matchup, not points total. Stupid, but hey, who am I? I'm just a commissioner.
Are you?
Who's the commish?
It's just me.
It's just him, but he got voted. He got overruled on a vote as far
Stupidest rule.
Yeah, so,
stupidest rule. But I picked Rob Gronkowski off the waiver wire and Cordero Patterson off the waiver wire this summer.
and you turned that into a first round.
And I turned into a 23 first round pick.
I love waiver wire flips for draft picks.
Giggity goo.
It's got a little ring to it.
So
Extra ring for sure.
But I would have, if I was a legit contender and I needed Cordero Patterson, and to be fair, every team needs Cordero Patterson. It doesn't matter what you have, because the fact that you can play, now not every league you play wide receiver and running back. Like in most MFL leagues, he's listed, unless your league manually changed it, he's just a wide receiver.
He's just a wide receiver.
Now, if you play on Yahoo or anywhere else, he's a running back and wide receiver.
Right.
Like that's a championship caliber player, right? And
absolutely.
to me, to give up, now preferably a 22 first and not 23 first, like to give up a first that really push my team over the edge, I have no problem doing it. Definitely you can put a guy like Patterson in your flex. You know what I mean? Like if you have a flex spot and you're good everywhere else, that's a player that you can use, right? Like Patterson's a league winner kind of player. Leonard Fournette, league
winner. Absolutely. And perfect example is I didn't realize that there was a trade deadline in this one league that happened last week. And I'm getting a little thin at running back. It's actually the league you just beat me in, 200 to 174. And I was like, oh, perfect. There's a guy out of contention, and he's got playoff Lenny on his roster. I'm going to go try to make a trade. Hit the trade button, and it wouldn't let me do it. I didn't even realize.
Did you mention the commissioner? I have a lot of leagues like mine. I had to go back and switch because even though what happened was I extended the season 1 week
and forgot to move the trade deadline.
I didn't move the trade deadline.
Yeah.
And all my group me chats, people were like, "Hey, we can't trade." I'm like, "Oh, we just got to push it back a week." It's all because the rules the week right before the playoffs, so the rules should still be in effect. You should text the commish.
I feel like he put a note or something like that.
Oh, he did?
That
Sucking nerd?
said something about the trade deadlines coming up, and I just missed it. So.
People that have trade deadlines before the playoffs in Dynasty, I hate it.
It was disappointing, to say the very least, because I mean, it was one of those things where I lost DeAndre Hopkins. Miles Sanders this past week was on bye. Like, I was just real thin at the position, and I was like, oh, God, playoff Lenny would be great to have on my team right now, and I definitely have, like, an abundance of assets as far as draft picks go, and players. I mean, tradable assets. Yeah, it did. Absolutely.
Here's why you don't have a trade deadline to the playoffs, because in Dynasty, like the NFL, you get a lot of parity, and there's a lot of teams fighting for that 5th, 6th spot, right? So it comes down to that last game of the year. So why would you make a big move if you don't know you're into the playoffs, right? So like, if you really want to encourage trading, you let it go all the way to the playoffs and let the only teams that, like in all our leagues, that commission. Like, so it's a lot. The rule is there's no trade deadline except for the teams that make the playoffs. Once you're in the playoffs and that game starts, so on kickoff on that Thursday, you can't make any trades until you're eliminated.
And if you're out of the playoffs, you could make a trade with another team that's out of the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure.
All day long. No big deal.
All day long. And again, because some people might want to hold off, like, hey, I'm not going to trade my first if I missed the playoffs, because then it goes to pick 6. Like, I'd rather just have pick 6. But all of a sudden, if you're in and you sneak in as a 6th seed, now you're encouraged, like, hey, I made the playoffs. I snuck in. Shit, I'm the 6th seed. I got to make some moves. Like, let me make some trades.
Well, now I had a dominant team all year, and because I missed the trade deadline by a week, now I'm kind of limping into the playoffs. Like, I have 200 points more than the next closest person in our league.
Yeah.
So I was dominating that league all year, but I've come into a couple injuries here, like everyone else has, and now I feel like I'm limping instead of
going in
kind of cruising like I was all year. So I'm just not as confident as I would be if I could have just bolstered my team just a little bit.
And that's what and Dynasty should have the access. And I listen, that's what I believe.
I feel like the argument against that isn't strong at all because it happened last night. Like, our trade deadline ended as soon as the Monday night game was over. It ended, but there's a trade that went through right for James Conner right before the game ended. For this, that applies to this next week, and there's a couple league mates that were like pissed, like they shouldn't be allowed to make that trade. You know, deadline should have been a week ago. I'm like, why?
Yeah, why?
They just didn't like it. You know, it's not like they shouldn't be able to make a move now. That was the reply. So I feel like
it's just
argument,
saltiness.
It's not a good argument.
It's not a good argument. It's just saltiness. They're mad about it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you play Dynasty, it's based off of literally 2 things that you do. You draft and you trade. That's how you build your team, through the draft and trade. And through the draft, it's a minimal draft, 4 to 6 rounds. So you have a very limited opportunity there. So mostly you do your roster building through trades. And honestly, over my 18 years of playing Dynasty, the best way to strengthen a league, the best way to make a league fun is the more trades that go down, the funner the league is, right? It encourages conversation between league mates. Like, oh, I would have gave up more. Or, oh, you just got bent over with no lube. And, like there's a lot of, like, great deal, Matt. There's a lot of good camaraderie that can come out of the trades.
And it also, the league's not stagnant. Everyone's not just sitting there with the same rosters year in, year out, and there's like movement and there's a flow to it, and it's not just here's my 5 rookies for this year, this is how my teams change. Like, that's fun. You know what I mean?
There's those guys that were hanging like the middle of the pack that thought they were going to make the playoffs, and then all of a sudden they're out.
Yep.
Then they want to dump off some assets real quick.
Of course.
Well, for sure, because if you think you have a chance, you're hesitant to sell.
Right.
What's the worst case if you sell and then you got in and you're like, oh my God.
If I only had those 3 guys back,
I could have won. So, like, I think you should have that last minute to decide. Like right now, and look at the window, still small. And what it does, things get real crazy because in our 18-year league, like, trades go down.
Deadlines
of that Thursday game.
They make deals, man.
You only have Tuesday, Wednesday, and half of Thursday. So you literally have 2.5 days for those teams that snuck in and didn't to make deals. And things get real crazy real quick.
How do you guys feel about leaving trades open through the playoffs?
I don't like it. No, I don't like the trades
like it either.
throughout the playoffs, but right up to them. Like this week, I'm good with it. You know what I mean?
There was
until Thursday night football starts.
Until 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Until the balls kicked off. Like, I literally made a big time trade. I was like, dude, this game starts this is like 4 years ago. And I had for DeAndre Hopkins. I was like, the guy's name was Jim. I was like, Jim, this game starts in 10. We'd been going back for that 3 days between the game. I was like, Jim, this is my best offer. This game kicks off in 10 minutes. Do we have a deal? Because this is it. This is it. There's no more back and forth. This is it. We're at the deadline. It goes through.
Right. I got to get this trade approved. I got to get it through now.
Well, we went back and forth for 3 days, all day, every day, negotiating this trade. And you get all these other recovery, and then you put out there like, hey, all you contenders, I got Leonard Fournette available. Who wants them? Yep. And then you start to get overpaid because you have, hey, Matt's offered me this.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could go public on them. You know what I mean? You could go a whole bunch of different routes.
And it makes it funner. I mean, that was one of the funnest trades I ever made too, because you came down to that last 10 minutes. Like, dude, we got 10 minutes to make this trade. Like, are we going to make the deal or not? Like that, like the heightened sense of urgency really makes it more fun. And again, 2.5 days isn't a lot of time. So if that's your trade deadline, it's like, it just makes it more fun. And that's what we're here to do. We're just here to have fun. We're here to win ships and have fun, because winning is fun. But honestly, losing's fun because you get great picks.
Where were we? We went off on this trade deadline tangent.
So
it's a good topic, though. I mean, I think we should add that to the How to Play Dynasty series that we have on YouTube for any new Dynasty players that are trying to format their leagues and stuff like that. I think
the trade deadline. Talk about it in depth and why you should and shouldn't.
It's a good conversation.
You know, we all my rules. We have little sneaky rules in there. Like my favorite rule that we created a long time ago was, you've heard me talk about this podcast many times. If you're new to the podcast, my favorite rule that I implement on my leagues, I don't know anybody else that does this, is for the losers bracket game, right? So when you get in there, you have 6 teams. First 1 and 2 have a bye. Then 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5.
Yep.
So the loser of those games play the loser brackets. And we found out, like, no, who the heck wants to win that losers game because you get the worst pick?
You're not finishing in the money, and then it's basically became a tank game because you're not getting any money, and the winner got the worst pick. So it was a lose-lose situation, basically, if you're in the loser's bracket to win that game.
So I was like, hey, guys, why don't we switch it where if you win that game, you get the higher pick?
Boom.
So now you're trying to win.
Jackpot. Now all of a sudden it's a game.
And now you're going for it. So our rule is in all my Dynasty leagues is that loser brackets game, whoever wins gets the 7th pick, the loser gets the 8th pick. So you have something to play for. So you do win something there, even in a loser's bracket. It's one of my favorite little rules, too. And that's what's great about Dynasty. You can mold these leagues as best as any kind of idea that you want to.
That would piss me off.
What's that?
That could be the difference between getting like Isaiah Spiller or freaking.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's why we do
Garrett
it.
Wilson.
That's why we do it.
So you win.
You don't like that rule?
Nah. I don't know. That would piss me off.
But what about how do you prevent people from tanking that game then?
Add money to it or something. Add
No,
a little.
not enough money to go around when you're paying out. It's bad enough to pay 4 people.
Listen, I played big money. I'm just playing.
If the difference was me winning $20 or getting a better player, I just get the better player at tank. Like how much money are you gonna? You know what I mean? Like,
well, that game doesn't ultimately matter.
It does in our leagues because you get the higher pick.
Yeah,
that's the thing. We make it matter.
We make it matter.
That's the whole point. That's the fun part about it. Like you want to win that league because it's a difference between, you're right, 7th or 8th pick. It's a difference between Jalen Reagor and Justin Jefferson.
You're winning the toilet bowl. You should get something for that. You get the better player. You get the better player.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great rule. It's been in effect forever. Copy it, use it, steal it.
Stupid rule.
Rich.
Yes.
Do you wish you could have had stock in a guy like Derrick Henry before last season? Well, now Prediction Strike makes that a real possibility. Prediction Strike is the only performance-based sports stock market where you can buy and sell shares of professional athletes as if they were stocks. Prediction Strike lets fans create portfolios of their favorite athletes so they can get even closer to the game. Don't just draft your favorite players. Start investing in them. Simply visit PredictionStrike.com or download their app. Yes, their app to create an account. Then deposit funds, buy, sell, and hold shares of your favorite players, just like you would real stocks. The value of the players will change based on their performances as well as as well as other users buying and selling shares of those athletes. Let me clear my throat. You can trade your shares of players at any time as long as the player isn't currently in a game. Sign up now with promo code DYNASTY to receive a free share with your first deposit of $20 or more.
Ooh, we're talking about some guys on the next show you can actually invest that money into too.
Yes, sir.
Some good things here. Let's talk about some of the, as we talk about these playoff matchups that are coming up here for week 15, let's talk about some of these guys that we might rather have or not have. So what do you think, Matt? Tua Tagovailoa versus Jets.
Yep.
Or Russell Wilson versus the Rams this week. Who are you going with?
Yeah, so Tua right now is going against the 9th easiest schedule or 9th easiest passing defense.
For my analysts, the Jets are literally bottom 3, if not the worst team when it comes to getting fantasy productions at the quarterback. So they have it down here in the notes. I think Garrett put these notes together as the 9th. I have them as the worst.
Anyway, they're bad. And Russell Wilson's obviously going against the Rams, who play pretty good defense. Their pass defense this past week, obviously without Jalen Ramsey wasn't as good, but he'll be back supposedly for this next game. So me personally, they're really close as far as points per games over the past 4 weeks. Anyway, I think one's at 16.53. That's Tua, and Russell's at 16.73.
Sort of the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, over the last 4 weeks. So it's really close to me. I feel like Tua's a little bit more of the hot hand type of guy. And going against the worst defense, the worst out of the two defenses, I'd probably lean towards Tua myself.
I'm the same way. To me, I looked at it, and it was an easy choice for me. I'm starting Tua Tagovailoa, honestly, as a top 12 play this week versus the Jets, and I'm starting him over Russell Wilson, who I look as an outside as a QB1 this week. I look at Tua Tagovailoa as a QB1.
I feel like Russ is a little rusty, but he's knocking it off. Like he's coming kind of rounding into form these past couple of games. So, it wouldn't like shock me if he came out and had a good game, but it is the Rams. It's still a significantly better defense that he's going against than Tua.
Tua's the play here.
Yeah.
I think it's if you want to play, it's Tua. Same team, Rashad Penny versus the Rams, who are like really good versus the run, obviously with Aaron Donald, or James Robinson, who's playing Houston, who are absolutely horrendous to stopping anything. Rashad Penny coming off that really big week this past week, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I know so James Robinson hasn't had more than 10 touches each in the past 2 games. Now, but
it's been super disappointing and odd usage for sure.
But they have made a statement coming out here. Trevor Lawrence came out and said, listen, we got to get James Robinson the ball in his hands. And even Urban Meyer, Mr. Self-Centered, the son of the world on that football team there, is saying, hey, we got to get James Robinson more carries. To me, matchup, Rams, Rashad Penny, 1 game so far versus James Robinson, who's shown us consistently that he can be the guy versus Houston. I think this is a good game to get him back on track. I think James Robinson's an easy play there.
I would love to agree with you. How about that? But I'm not sure I do. Even Pete Carroll's comments said that, hey, Rashad Penny, he's earned the right to kind of see if he can do it the rest of the season.
Oh, yeah, I think he's going to get an opportunity for sure.
Yeah.
But still the Rams.
It is the
Rams. Versus Houston.
I understand. This is a tricky one. I think I'm leaning Penny, and it is going to be a volume thing. And I think he can still do it even if they fall behind a little bit in that game, because he's viable through the passing game as well.
Yeah, I think it's Robinson easily, because to me, when I get to these situations and it's close, like I'm always looking at matchups. Like where can I put myself in the best position to win? No Odell Beckham this week. Like Van Jefferson's a must start. He's the top 16 play. He's been already on fire, but with no Odell Beckham, Van Jefferson is going to eat deliciously. So what about Michael Gallup versus the Giants? Again, pretty bad. Or Jerry Jeudy versus the Bengals, who are like middle of the road.
This is a tough one for me as well. I'm leaning towards Jerry Jeudy and the Bengals because it's the better player, and I think the Bengals also, they're a better offense, right? So the the Denver Broncos might be forced to throw the ball more in order to just kind of keep this game close, whereas in Michael Gallup and the Cowboys could get off to a fast start and just be running the ball and just trying to kill the clock against the Giants. Because
Jerry Jeudy's averaging 8.6 points per game. Michael Gallup over 4 catches over the last 4 games, in each game averaging 12.7 points per game.
No, I understand the differences in the points per game, but I still am leaning towards Jerry Jeudy.
I just made a big trade today in the Ultimate Dynasty Podcast League, where I've been in first place for many years. Didn't make the playoffs. Dynasty Trades Headquarter Podcast, Shane Manila, my boy, offered me a trade for Devontae Adams in that league, and I gave up Devontae Adams and Melvin Gordon. This is literally an hour and a half ago.
Okay.
I received DeAndre Swift and Michael Gallup. What say you?
Well, I like the fact that Gallup is, it's his year, it's his free agency year here, so he could go somewhere and I feel like get into a better situation where he could see more reliable targets.
16.7 points per game.
What did you say?
Average maybe 16 points.
I think he could. I think he can go somewhere, and I think he's a very talented player. So it's one of those things where he's just stuck behind, unfortunately, 2 more talented players there in Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. So I like that trade. I think you could have got maybe I feel like you could have gotten maybe a little bit more.
I don't want to be greedy.
Yeah.
I think you got rid of 2 possibly depreciating assets for 2 guys that are going to only accrue value.
And I needed a running back. I got young receivers. I got Van Jefferson, Calvin Ridley. I have one old receiver in DeAndre Hopkins already. So, Devontae Adams turns 29. He's going to get a big contract extension. He'll probably stay in Green Bay. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to stay in Green Bay. If there's any selling point because you think they're going to go somewhere, I honestly think they both end up staying there. But yeah, I like that. What about two guys that
who are you going with, Gallup or Jerry Jeudy? You going with Gallup?
Oh, I'm going with Gallup all day.
Just for, you're chasing the points there?
I think Jerry Jeudy, if you're a championship contender, you're in the playoffs, there's no way you're starting Jerry Jeudy.
Okay.
There's no way. He's not giving you enough. I'm looking any other way.
Who else are they throwing the ball to, though? They're going to have to keep up with the Bengals this week. And
I feel like they're not throwing the ball anyway. They give Cortland Sutton a big contract extension. They don't even throw the football.
I know they're not throwing to him. No offense, not tearing it up or anything.
No, because Albert O's scoring touchdowns out there. Listen, they all know there's a new quarterback coming in next year.
It is a mess.
I know Benjamin Albright, who's in Denver, says the reason those guys signed the extension because they know they're going to be in a better quarterback situation next year. So, to me, with that mixture, it's like a watered down drink. I want nothing to do with it. You're just wasting my time.
So last week, Dalton Schultz was completely out of the game basically, and it was just the 3 wide receivers that dominated. You don't see a little bit of a correction coming next week where maybe something else gets watered down?
I would rather risk it.
Okay.
I would rather, you know what I mean? It's
right.
Listen, if I'm not playing Jerry Jeudy, it's that simple. I'm going any other way. I'm looking for these COVID matchups. I'd much rather honestly play Donovan Peoples-Jones than Jerry Jeudy. I'm not playing him.
I don't disagree with that, obviously. But
honestly, if I
Jarvis
start
Landry
Gallup,
down.
I'm not too happy either. I mean, if he's my wide receiver 3 going in the playoffs, I'm like, oh, this ain't gonna go. This ain't looking too good.
It's a tough one. All right, so let's move on. I guess what's the next one on the list here?
Garrett put Cole Beasley versus the Panthers, Laquan Treadwell versus Houston. I feel like those are 2 players. If you have to start again, things aren't looking too good regardless.
Laquan Treadwell has actually been.
I understand
doing halfway decent. I would not start my Cole Beasley here at all. So to me,
Emmanuel Sanders is banged up.
He is right. And Gabriel Davis is the guy.
We're going to talk about him a little bit.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we hold our horses.
so I mean, Laquan Treadwell is the only guy catching passes, I feel
That's true. 10 targets. Nico Collins, who we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Nico Collins? He's on Houston.
Oh, yeah. Wrong. I said playing versus Houston.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Laquan, he's the only one not arguing with anybody. He's the only one that's in good graces. So he's oh, you're a former first round pick. Yeah,
it's an odd resurgence.
A very odd resurgence.
It's a guy that, I mean, I liked him coming out. I have no idea why he failed.
4+ catches,
and now
50+ yards.
And now I have no idea why he's reemerging.
I thought he was supposed to be a tight end.
Maybe he grew up.
Yeah, maybe he did. Maybe it was between the ears.
Cole Beasley had 11 targets last game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good floor compared to.
Did he catch 5 for 60 yards? 9?
Yeah.
Did he catch
9? But before this
game,
he hasn't done anything.
I think he's safer.
Okay.
In the playoffs. I don't know.
For with Emmanuel Sanders news, and I know Gabe Davis is there. I mean, do you really feel comfortable? Listen, he was my wide receiver 1. I missed that one big time.
Don't say that.
I missed that one big time. He was my wide receiver 1. I'm not. Listen, I'm just forfeiting the playoff game. I got to start Laquan Treadwell.
I quit, man.
I'm writing a stern letter to the commissioner.
I have Laquan. That's my only option.
Say this is ridiculous. These COVID rules are killing me.
I don't deserve to win this game, even if he plays well.
You know what? I'd start Laquan Treadwell.
Laquan's a start,
I'm
man.
going for the glory.
Do it.
I'm going for the glory.
Yes.
Last one here. Kyle Pitts versus the 49ers, who are pretty good versus tight end. And then Dalton Schultz versus the Giants, who are okay. Pitts averaging 7.8 points over the past 4 weeks. Dalton Schultz averaging 9.4.
This is a tough one, man. Because Schultz did really bad last week. But he's a tight end 1. He's been a tight end 1. He's a part of their offense. I know.
Give me the guy where there's nobody else there to catch the football.
That was going to be my counterpoint. Is that there's literally no one else there to catch the football. So Kyle Pitts going against a tough 49ers defense, though. I'm going to go Dalton Schultz. I think he's the guy.
I'm going Kyle Pitts.
I think he does better.
He is the guy. I don't have to think. I know he's the guy. He's the only guy.
See,
Russ Gage.
My Dalton Schultz and my Michael Gallup takes, they're intertwined here, and Dalton Schultz is going to be taking away from Michael Gallup.
Finally, we're talking about 2 guys that actually people are going to start on their Dynasty playoff teams.
Yeah.
If you're starting those other guys and you win, shoot me a screenshot on Twitter at Dynasty Rich. I'd love to see it. Listen, if you have to start Laquan Treadwell on your playoff team and you win, tweet that at me. I need proof and a link to the league so I can see your screen, and I will send you a Dynasty Nerd shirt.
Love it.
I love that as well.
I will send you a Dynasty Nerd shirt free of charge, and I'll throw a high class, high decal vinyl sticker in there with you too.
Those are nice decals.
Oh,
man.
they're super sweet stickers. Yeah,
They're right here. Right
I need more of them.
Right here.
I've been throwing a lot of those. Like when people have been ordering shirts lately, I've been throwing some in there. Just
I always do that. Some people like email us and like just point out little things we have wrong, like the film room, like someone spelled wrong. We have two games of the same game or something.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Send them a shirt.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Appreciate the heads up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
put a note. Some people noted in there like, "Hey, I heard you on a podcast say if you buy a shirt right now, you'll throw a sticker in. Can I get that sticker?" And I was like, "Oh, I was already throwing stickers in anyways, but for sure." Well, and then I realized I was like, "Oh, that's why I'm throwing stickers in because I made that note on the podcast." I was like, "When I start throwing stickers in here, but they're nice stickers.
They're really nice stickers.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
I love stickers.
Ooh, look at you, sticky Jared."
Stick them.
So a couple more things we're going to talk about here. We want to talk about some sneaky starts, and then I want to end the show on Matt and I talking about maybe like a dynasty team, playoff team that we like. I think the best thing we could probably do is like the league that I just beat you 200 with 200 points in. We'll give our rosters and see. Cause I think you and I are the favorites to win that league.
I think we're going to be heads up. Yeah, for sure.
Even though neither of us have a bye. I think we're the best teams in that league. We'll see who somebody likes to line up better. So some sneaky starts here. I don't know. Do you have any? Because I have a list. If you don't have any, I can go.
Proceed.
All right, here are a couple of Rich Dodson's sneaky starts for the playoffs. In case you're up against
the
it.
reason I don't have this is because I did not see this down here.
Okay.
I missed this portion of the show sheets.
Good thing I have enough guys to get you covered. Just let me know what you think about these sneaky starts.
All right.
One off the top of the list, if you need help at running back, I got two guys at running back I like at sneaky starts. I got two at receiver. I got one at quarterback and one at tight end. So here are my sneaky starts of the week coming out Tuesday. I usually do this on Thursday on my TV show, but that'll probably change now because I just have to put more time in. But for Monday night research, this is where I'm at so far. At running back, we have Craig Reynolds of the Detroit Lions. DeAndre Swift still hurt, possibly going to go to IR. We don't know. Jamal Williams, we don't know if he's going to come back this week. And he's somebody that came in last week. He was sharing carries with Cedric. I can't even pronounce his last name, so I'm going to try to.
Unfortunately, he was the guy that I picked up, the other guy.
Yeah, you missed out on Craig. Craig! But he had 11 carries, 83 yards, where the other dude, Cedric O., he had like
25 yards and a fumble.
Yeah.
I know. Mm-hmm. I know.
Thanks for the 0.5 points, Cedric.
Because when DeAndre Swift didn't play, I was forced to put in Moss, and then Moss got scratched late, so I was forced to put in whatever his name is, and he got me like 0.5 points. I'm like, thanks for coming, man. Appreciate you.
Wait, you got something about the dude for Detroit?
Yeah,
Godwin?
Yes, Godwin.
You say Cedric?
I did. His name was relevant.
I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
What's his name? Godwin won the
Godwin
Igwabuike. Look at this guy. Translate that to me. What does that mean?
Thank you.
Send me some stickers. I'll tell you.
Okay, I will. Come in, check your mailbox.
I love stickers.
So was it Cedric?
I love stickers.
And Godwin. But Craig Reynolds is a nice option because he looked pretty good last week. You got the majority. You got a little bit more carries. Had 83 yards here. So I like Craig Reynolds as a sneaky start. I also like Ramondre Stevenson this week a lot because Damian Harris, he still has that hamstring injury. Yep. We know these soft tissues could come up any single week. He didn't play week 13, so they're off last week with the bye. Damian Harris didn't play at all week 13. And this is Ramondre is somebody who's over his last 5 games, he's got double-digit carries set over all those games except for one. In the week 13, when Harris didn't play, he got his most carries, 24 touches.
I was going to say that was over 20, right? 24 for 78 yards. The yards weren't there, but he's going to be the guy. So I think he's a really good opportunity here to give you high-end running back 2 numbers. Definitely if Damian Harris does not play. And I don't know where the game is at this week, but
Indy.
Is it in Indy? Okay, never mind. I was gonna say if it's bad weather, we've already seen that they're more than willing to hand the ball off almost exclusively if they need to.
Literally exclusively. Sometimes it hasn't been done in the NFL.
Harris is out, dude. He's a smash play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, so he's a nice obvious play here to get into your lineup. Just kind of like if Darrell Henderson's not playing, Sony Michel's a top 15 play this week. Another player I like this week is Donovan Peoples-Jones for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, how about that catch last week on the sideline. That is an all-pro caliber catch.
That was phenomenal. I mean, there was pass interference on the play. He was getting pushed out of bounds.
He's been doing that all year.
And he still managed to miraculously toe tap on the way down.
That play happened. I was at the game, and that play happened literally directly in front of me because my seats are on the 10-yard line, row 9.
Oh, God.
And
brag.
Yeah.
I knew he was going to point that out.
12 years, so season ticket holder, Cleveland Browns here. I go to every game, and
not so humble.
and I couldn't. I was like, dude, I couldn't. I don't think that was in. I don't know if he had both feet down. And they show the replay on the scoreboard. I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. So with Jarvis Landry going to COVID list, with
all the tight
Austin
ends.
Hooper going to COVID list, David Njoku on the COVID list, Harrison Bryant reportedly come back this week. I mean, Rashard Higgins has been in the doghouse since 1982, so we know what's going to happen to him. Anthony Schwartz is out.
Concussion.
They have no other. They literally have no other receivers.
Plus, he's not a good
They'll
football
probably
player.
promote Jamarcus Bradley off the practice squad, so it's going to be Donovan Peoples-Jones, and they're going to have to run the ball a ton here. But Donovan Peoples-Jones will see all the targets for the Cleveland Browns this week in a must-win game versus the Raiders.
Are you at all concerned that half of the offensive line is also not going to be there?
I'm very concerned.
Okay.
And what's nice is the pieces that they have come in, these offensive linemen, is they're really good run blockers. So that should help. Like, it's going to have to be a Nick Chubb game. They're going to give him a ton of carries. But when they do throw the football, the Raiders defense, the strength is
pass rush.
The pass rush. They can be run on. But Donovan Peoples-Jones will be the number one receiver for this team. So I like him as a not so obvious kind of sneaky
He'll
play
be like
this
the
week.
only guy catching passes. So.
He'll be the only guy
I have to
catching
use
passes.
Felton a little bit, too.
Yeah, they will. Yep.
Another guy I like, and this is a nice buy maybe this offseason too, is KJ Osborne for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
He's somebody, when he gets to be the number 2 guy, he puts up double-digit points and scores a touchdown every single time. If you go over a stat line, when he's the number 2 receiver, he was my not-so-obvious sneaky start last week for my TV show, and he produced again this week. And my stat line was, hey, this is a guy, when given the opportunity, he's giving you double-digit points and is in a really good position to score a touchdown. So right now, with no Thielen, who's likely going to miss this week, it puts KJ Osborne in another time position here to give you wide receiver 2 to wide receiver 3 numbers. I like KJ Osborne as a sneaky start this week as well to get into your lineup. Any thoughts on him?
So it's Thielen was that a high ankle? I can't remember. I was just trying to.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's definitely probably going to miss this week. Yeah. Okay, that's what I was trying to track that down while you were talking to see like kind of.
He's out.
Okay, if he's out, KJ Osborne is definitely a nice guy to start. He's produced really well. I think he's shown this year that he can be the future number 2 there. Right? I mean that's.
We always thought it was going to be Amir Smith-Marset.
Thank you, because I couldn't remember that guy's name.
Coming in there. But, I mean, KJ Osborne's looked really, really good
He really has.
in his opportunity. So I think he is the future to replace Adam Thielen. I think he's a dynasty buy.
I was going to say, he's a sneaky guy to even go buy, not necessarily just start, to go buy before this offseason kind of kicks off or right after the playoffs, however trade deadline works out.
Somebody offered him to me for a second. I declined the trade, and I'm like, I would have gave a third. I don't think I feel comfortable for a second. But sometimes the more I think about it, I was like, yeah, maybe if it's a late second, that upside's there for a guy like KJ Osborne. I think he is a buy for this dynasty offseason. I would invest.
I think you can do worse for a second. Like, I mean, I think I've given a second and gotten worse back. How about that?
For sure.
He was good in college. Like he did really well in the MAC. Then he transferred to the U and kind of landed in a crappy situation. Miami's, it's been turmoil.
Yep.
Drafted
in the 5th round. So, I mean,
investments there.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah, good investment. I mean, I'm going to revisit that trade. It's just, it's hard to give up a 2nd-round pick, even though it's probably the right deal. Like this point in the season, right when we're about to get into these rookies and see where all the value really is, and kind of compare him to somebody else with opportunity wise, because we don't know if Adam Thielen comes back. And then obviously you have Irv Smith Jr. coming back there next year as well. Where does he fall on the pecking order? Because right now he produces when he's given the opportunity.
I'll see if I can pull up some trades at Osborne while you guys talk.
And how rude of us to not ask Elf Garrett what he thinks about KJ Osborne.
You like him? Oh, look, get to the YouTube channel. Oh,
he's shaking his head no.
He's not his head yes. Hold on.
It was a nod and it went to a shake.
He's still shaking his head now.
Wow.
He's adamant about
KJ.
He really, you know what? In fairness, Garrett really liked Amir Smith-Marset. So now I understand.
Literally rubbing off on him.
Yep. Wait, so did you
Talking
find
about
it?
rubbing off over there.
Did you
KJ
find any
Osborne
trades?
and a fourth for a second.
Okay.
Okay.
KJ Osborne, 23.
So that's not far
fourth,
off of what you were talking there. I mean,
and then
Minus the fourth.
a 2022 second, a 2023 second for KJ Osborne. These are all within the last 4
I ain't
days.
doing that.
no, that's a little bit too high.
Yeah, that's
That's
a little rich for Rich. Those are a couple I found.
Okay. All right.
Thanks for chiming in
KJ
there,
Osborne
producer.
for Devontae Freeman.
See that's a great one. You know, like a right before the playoffs hit, you ship off Devontae Freeman, you get
I
KJ
want to smack that smirk right off his face.
KJ Osborne back. That's a nice trade for a non playoff team.
All
to
right, you
make.
want my QB sneaky start?
Let's hear it, man.
Who do you think it is? Wrong. Davis Mills.
Shut up.
For the Houston Texans. Plays the Jaguars this week. Jaguars are terrible.
Oh, God.
And honestly, Davis Mills had a pretty good
He had
game
like
last week.
300 yards or something.
Dude, 33
in,
of 49 for 331 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
And they played Seattle last week. That was his third 300-yard game of the year.
yeah, and they committed to him for the rest of the season as well. So they want to see what they have in the youngster. I think that, out of the young guys that were kind of later round guys, he was the guy I pigeonholed as, hey, this is the guy I'm most interested in because Tyrod Taylor.
High schooler prospect.
Yeah, and Tyrod Taylor's ahead of him. He's the kind of the guy that seems to always get screwed by the rookie quarterback after a couple of games. And, it happened again.
So he's got to change his name from Tyrod Taylor to Tyrod See You Later. It's like, dude, always on the move.
Why do I fall for your dumb jokes every time?
That's all right. read the negative comments. They'll tell you how bad my jokes are.
We were crapping on Davis Mills earlier in the year. We're like, we will pay you to take him off our roster.
I mean, he's still not. He's young. I like him this week
Okay.
versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then at tight end, I like Foster Moreau this week. Saw 6 targets
That's a
last
great
week with no
start, yeah.
Darren Waller. He plays the Browns this week. Darren Waller probably he's still not practicing. 6
Foster
targets.
Foster
I caught 3 of
Moreau-
them for 13.
Yeah, he's a guy that every time I see him in action, like when he's the guy, he always looks really good.
Yeah, you want to take him out of foster care and adopt him.
Exactly. Bring him home.
You want to foster. You want to care for him.
I love
Keep swinging. I had a single eventually.
He does. He's a guy. He's a very interesting prospect. And for it to be, is it his second or third year? I can't remember. It's his second year, right?
Yeah, I mean Foster Moreau,
matter.
like more of them.
Dude, thank you. That was terrible. Usually you can get me to laugh. That one was just so bad it made me laugh.
That was so bad.
That was really bad, dude.
I got a whole bunch of more bad ones lined up somewhere. Gotta do this for a podcast probably for another 10 years, so who knows what I'm gonna do? I'll be 52 in 10 years. Who
Dude,
knows?
that's old.
My teeth are still in my mouth. I'll keep talking.
That's crusty.
All
right, no.
I don't want to put a G at the end of my sentence.
But
That's it. Those are my sticky starts.
Put one of these stickers right over his mouth.
Those good stickers will probably hold us shut. Those are my sticky starts. Do we have anything else before we go to our rosters here and then end the show?
No, I think that's it, man.
Let me grab my phone.
Oh, you're going to your phone for your roster, huh?
I'm going to give you, while you look up your team, me and Matt have 2 good teams, and we want to talk one of our playoff teams, and maybe you guys tweet us, see who you like better, Matt or I.
Okay. It's a 1 QB league, right?
It's a 1 QB,
PPR.
flex spot.
There's a flex spot. There's a defense and kickers.
You guys playing each other?
We are no, not
No,
this.
we
Not
just
this
played each other. Just beat
current
them
week.
200 points to 175.
Yeah.
Beat him to pulp.
This team is the only league I have left that plays kickers and defense.
Yep, me
It's an
too.
old league.
It is.
Here is my starting lineup for my playoff game. Quarterback, Josh Allen,
Not bad.
playing over Matt Stafford. Running back,
There's only one quarterback that's better than Josh Allen in this league. I'll let you know who that is in a minute.
Yeah, we'll give it time.
I'll let you know who that is when we get to my
So
roster.
I've got Josh Allen. I'm playing Saquon Barkley, Dalvin Cook, and Jonathan Taylor.
yeah, that's strong.
Those are my running backs. Are really good. Saquon Barkley, Dalvin Cook, Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, it's good.
At receiver, my starters, DeAndre Hopkins. He's questionable this week. Not looking good. Tyler Lockett, Michael Pittman Jr. Not bad.
Not bad.
Obviously, the running backs are the core of my team.
So you start 3 wide receivers, start 3 running backs too?
You can
I'm flexing my running back.
two running backs, 3 wide receivers, and a flex.
And
Got it.
then at tight end, now here's my biggest concern. Not concern. My biggest, I don't know where I'm going to go.
Your biggest weakness. Go
I
ahead.
am currently starting Dawson Knox. I'm starting him with my Josh Allen duo. I'm starting him over Mike Gesicki and Dallas Goedert.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
That's the play. So that's my starting lineup. My kicker,
tough.
Mason Crosby. My defense, the Cleveland Browns.
That's where you're faulty.
You see what they did last week? The defense is getting hot, son.
All right.
Look out,
so
Derek Carr.
my starting lineup, the aforementioned Tom Brady, the number 1 quarterback in the league.
Not bad. Not bad.
I also have Dak Prescott on that same team, so I've been flip-flopping between those two and doing a horrible job and just kind of mismanaging my team for the past like 3 or 4 weeks.
I just beat you.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, I've been chasing my tail a bit, but I'm going Tom Brady for my playoff matchup, so it's probably going to be Dak Prescott that has the better week. So my running backs in that league are Austin Eckler. I have got DeAndre Swift if he ever comes back. I've got Miles Sanders. I've got Rashad Penny. I've got Jamal Williams. I've got Javonte Williams, and that's it. So my starters in that.
Trade you Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Oh, the trade deadline.
This was the one where I wanted to get playoff Lenny to kind of shore up the.
I want to know who your starters are, Matt.
So it's
now your depth chart.
Austin Eckler. I'm going to start this week. Austin Eckler, Miles Sanders, and Javonte Williams.
Okay.
Because I kind of have to due to my wide receiver situation. So my wide receivers are Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, Terry McLaurin, who I'm not starting right now because I'm not sure if he's going to come out of concussion protocol or not. So that's kind of why I have 3 running backs right now, and then Mike Williams as my other guy because Cortland Sutton's on my bench where he needs to be, and my other guy is Alan Lazard and James Washington, and then I've got as my tight end Mark Andrews.
Pretty good.
So that's pretty good. Then I have Tyler Bass as my kicker, who's whatever, he's kicker. But Dallas Cowboys is my defense, and they're doing really good.
Who are they playing this week?
They are playing the Giants. So
good matchup.
Yeah,
too.
they should roll this week.
I
like Matt
scoring touchdowns. You like Matt's team better?
Yeah,
You're out of your damn mind.
I like it.
Did you hear my running backs are Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley, and Jonathan Taylor?
I hear you.
Josh Allen at QB.
I hear you.
Tom Brady just got off to
Brady,
Austin Eckler.
We'll let you know how it plays out. Nerd.
Yeah, we will.
We'll let you know how it goes. Let us know what you think.
If DeAndre Swift was playing, I'd feel so much better about my team. Like I would be able to.
Oh, if I had Justin Jefferson, I'd feel so much better about my team.
No, but I have Justin Jefferson.
If I had Devontae Adams.
I have DeAndre Swift.
and he has Cooper Kupp.
I have DeAndre Swift. Cooper Kupp and Justin Jefferson. Cooper Kupp's like.
I have Jonathan Taylor and
He's
Dalvin
scoring
Cook.
as much as a quarterback. I basically have. I'm playing super flex and you're not.
I was so sad last
with
night.
Cooper Kupp in my lineup.
Well, what?
My home league, I was up 50 and needed to win to go into the playoffs. If I lose, I'm out. He had James Conner and Cooper Kupp. So pissed.
Yeah, it didn't go well, did it?
Notice.
No, I'm out.
Yeah.
Done.
Well, no, Cooper Kupp is having like one of the all-time greatest receiving seasons in the history of fantasy football.
Yep.
Terrible.
Winners. I mean, just dude, you could have went out and traded. You could have gave up a 23 first and a 23 second and probably got James Conner, Leonard Fournette, and Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, probably give a little bit more
Before the year, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Fournette and Connor were cheap as hell.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like you give up that, like they give like, hey, I'll give you my whole 22 draft class. Give me those guys. Like, okay, now you scored the most points in the history of your fantasy league, dynasty league.
It's been gross for those guys.
Fournette's most likely played himself into a role for the next 2 years. In
Oh,
Tampa.
for sure. What a bargain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great buy.
Yeah.
I like him to buy for
looks
this
great.
offseason. Go, yeah, he looks absolutely terrific. So it's schemes, dude. Schemes are everything. We talk about it all the time. We say, hey, is Alvin Kamara, with Drew Brees, was he the best running back in the league? No. Was he the best fit for that system? Yeah, 100%. It matters. 100%. People ask why is OBJ doing better in LA and didn't do well in Cleveland? System, scheme, fit,
Quarterback.
It works. You shut your whore mouth.
Oh, God. You see those throws used last night?
Yeah, of course it is.
Baker can't do any of that.
That one throw by Stafford was
it Cup on the sideline?
On the sideline. That was unbelievable, man.
I missed it. Sorry.
Dropped it right in the bucket. So that's it. I hope everybody, unless you're playing me, does very well in their playoff appearances. I know my good friend Colleen's out there listening. In my high stakes league, we play each other. Not looking good. She just won the points title. We pay out. If you get the most points in that league, since it's a high stakes league, you get your buying back. She just got that, so things aren't looking good. So I told her, I was like, Colleen, good job out of you, but I hope you lose. That's it. We'll be back next week. We have a lot to talk about next week, right? I think. Is it next week? Are we still here?
We're definitely going to have lots to talk about.
Jared's pointing to something I have no idea what he's pointing to.
Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Don't forget we're there. We have our show on the YouTube channel in the video format. Go like, subscribe.
Oh,
Say
that's
what's
what you're
up.
pointing at.
Comment on
Okay.
the video.
You want me to read something?
Yeah.
Reading. Who needs
We'll be back
it?
next week. Again, good luck to everybody. Remember, there is no off season. So just because you're eliminated now or you get eliminated this week, there's still a lot of work to be done. We are here to help you along the way, give you our opinions. You take those opinions and use them the best that you think to your ability. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. But the good thing is we're right way more than wrong.
That's true.
We'll be back next week, Nerd Herd.
Adios.